so where are we at percentage-wise? How much is alive? And Sam, all of them, the same range, 23 to 29%. Whether it's a big pool, small pool, whatever, all within that range, 23 to 29%. That's how much is left in all the pools that I'm in. So I'm assuming it's the same just about everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I'm out in every pool, by the way, in case anybody was wondering. Last leg I had was Buffalo. We went with the Bills at home Sunday night, 8-point favorite, Tony Montana jerseys, all that. Dead. If you really think about it, going into Sunday, a lot of the popular moneyline parlays, I heard this a ton on Sunday. Bills and the Eagles, Bills and the Chiefs on Monday, Bills and this, Bills and that. The Bills were such a huge leg for the sports books to knock out. Not even talking about Survivor, just the money line parlay aspect of it. And, John Murray was on our show after the first couple of weeks of the NFL. None of the favorites are losing outright. A lot of the popular ones lost last week. Again, Broncos beating the Eagles, Chiefs going down to Jacksonville, and Drake May and the Patriots knocking off the Bills. I think that cracked a lot of people. So now your work's cut out for you, no doubt. How many do you have left? You came into the season with like 30 survivors, right?
I'm alive in 9 pools.
All right.
7 of them I have 1 spot. One I have 2, and another one that has 1 million people in it. I have 4 spots. So, yeah, how much am I going to divvy it up now? Now that we're down to this, because a good thing I put some on Detroit last week. That's what got me through. My other ones were losers, Rams and the Cardinals. Wish I didn't stay off the Colts, but I did. So we have them in with most of my selections. I was going over the top spreads of the week, and the only one that I've used is Denver. All of these, it's like, nope, you've used 0. You've used 0, so that's really not part of the equation for me. Okay, let's take a look at this week. There are 5 games that have a point spread of at least a touchdown. Now there's one on an island. The island one is Green Bay. We all know that. Some spots have it as high as 15 right now. Green Bay a favorite over Cincinnati, going up against Joe Flacco now. That has certainly changed. Quick week, quick turnaround, learning the playbook, trying to cram like it's high school at the very end of the year, when you're just trying to get through. You got to get to that certain mark just to pass. That's what's happening with Flacco in Cincinnati. The other large point spreads tonight, Philadelphia, 7.5 against New York Giants, a divisional matchup. Another one, Indy, favored by 7.5 against Arizona. The Rams that smoked people last week, 7.5 against the beat-up Baltimore team. And then London, we've got Denver, a touchdown favorite over the New York Jets. So there are 2 games that I like here. We can throw out other ones if we'd like, but here are the 2 teams I'm on. Green Bay, you can't ignore them. They are going to be the most popular team. They are 14, 15-point favorites for a reason. There is quite the gap. For context, if you go to Moneyline right now, the money line in Green Bay is $12. Okay? The next highest is the game tonight, Philly. It's about $4. That's the kind of a gap we're talking about. Do you want to lay $12 or do you want to lay $4 on the money line? That is pretty big. In Philly's future value, there's a ton of it, which I want to talk about. Sam, just to bottom line it for people, I like the Packers and the Rams this week. Packers,
I think
it's obvious. Yeah.
I think the best play would be Denver, but unfortunately you've used a good amount of Denver, right? So you can't come into this conversation saying Denver because you've already sort of used them. Did you shove Denver against the Titans? Was that what it was early in the season?
Yeah. I think I've got 1 spot where I have Denver available, and that's it.
The Jets are not winning this game. They're not. I don't want to say no way because I hate people that say no way, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's a chance that this is a bloodbath on Sunday.
Very good chance. I hate London games, so that bothers me a little bit. I would rather use Denver next week against the Giants in Denver. But I could be wrong on that one. Yeah, most people have used Denver, but yeah, I'm not going to use them this week. I'm the one spot that I do have, I will use them next week. Okay, so here's what I think is interesting about Survivor this week. That a lot of times people try to map out the whole season, which is, I mean, how many times we got to go through this? This is dumb. Like what you thought about Cincinnati before and what you think about them now is completely different. Teams are different. Quarterback injury report, like what you thought about Baltimore before and what you think of them now, completely different. Season changes, right? But I think it's fair to look in a small window. So I'm talking about the window of week 7, 8, 9. Next week, the biggest favorite is going to be the Chiefs. The Chiefs are not in play this week because they're facing Detroit. Okay, fine. But keep that in mind. Kansas City, 10.5-point favorite against Vegas. Week 8, 2 weeks from now, I want Philly. So I don't want to use them tonight. I want Philly because it's the same matchup in Philly. The projected point spread, 13.5 points right now. I don't know that we get there, but they're going to be a double-digit favorite. Week 9, the Rams get the Saints. 13.5. 13.5. Would you rather take the Rams at Baltimore this week or the Rams in week 9 against New Orleans as a double-digit favorite? You're going to want to save some spots for the Rams. Anybody that's taken the Rams, they're probably out because they used them last week. So in a few weeks, you're going to want the Rams. So another reason I keep pointing to Green Bay. That week 9, when the Rams are facing New Orleans, Green Bay gets Carolina. So I think it's interesting. If the spots you use Green Bay, you can use the Rams in week 9, and the spots you use the Rams, you can use Green Bay in week 9.
And some people would not be as planny, I guess. Planny's not really a word, but some people just want a winner right now. And if you look at the injury report for Baltimore, ta-da! Lamar Jackson did not practice yesterday.
He ain't playing.
So I don't think he's going to play. I mean, we've talked about this for a couple days now. Don't expect him to be out there. The market hasn't really moved that much. I think obviously this is price that Lamar's not going to go. There's one book right now that has an 8. They did see some positive news, though, in the sense that it looks like Kyle Hamilton and Ronnie Stanley are trajecting up. That's good news for them. But how do you love the Baltimore side without Lamar? It's just very hard for a lot of people to get there. So I do think, while I understand your point about saving the Rams, a lot of people are going to look at what Baltimore just did the last couple of weeks, blown out against the Chiefs, blown out against the Texans, and probably out again for Lamar. So I think a lot of people are going to look at this one as a layup, and I don't necessarily disagree.
Yep, I'm using the Packers and the Rams. That's how I'm going to split mine up. That's where I'm at this week. Would you consider Indy against Arizona? There are not a lot of times to use them.
I don't
want anything to do with that game. I don't want anything to do with it.
And we wanted nothing to do with Arizona last week for the most part. We're like, I don't know. Yeah. But it's funny how that works with Arizona. You don't want to pick against Arizona in this spot. We didn't want to play Arizona last week. I'll speak for myself. No. Like I looked at that game. I'm like, no shot. Arizona is a 7-point favorite. No thanks. Arizona is a 7-point dog. It's weird. I kind of like Zona. This should not be a thing, but I like them more on the money line when they're +7 than when they're -7. That makes no sense, but that's kind of how I feel about Arizona.
That's that team. Yeah, I was with you on that. And then by the end of the week, I ended up taking Arizona because it was one of those situations. There's no other week to take them. And if you're going to win this thing, you're probably going to have to take Arizona because they're a mid team. So I ended up taking Arizona, and I hated myself for it. Outside of the top 5, you've got, in order, highest point spread, Pittsburgh, 5.5 against Cleveland, divisional matchup. Vegas, 5 against Tennessee. Washington, 4.5 Monday night against the Bears. Bills, 4 at Atlanta. Chargers, 4 at Miami. I don't like any of them. Do you?
No, I don't. I would go Rams. I would do Ram shove, I think.
Yep. Ram shove. Woo. McVay against this beat up defense. Matabuke out for the year. Still, it sounds like no Roquan, right? Like, we'll see about Humphrey. You mentioned Hamilton's trending positive, and you still got Cooper Rush under center. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions last week. Nothing in the run game. They're a disaster. I think they're just going to take this. Feels like a scheduled loss. Like they understand we're going to lose this game, but we're going on bye next week, and then we're going to try and get prepared for some sort of a run after that.
Did you consider the Patriots at all? Very small favorite on the road in New Orleans.
Never for a second. I think the Patriots might be on upset alert.
Never for a second. Look, that line has not moved at all. At all. Open 3.5, sitting 3.5. You know what the public's going to bet in that one.